What's going on, Soul Nation? Ginger Prime here, and today we're talking about Minecraft Dungeons, a newly released game for PC, Xbox, PS4, Switch, part of Game Pass. So if you have that, you can play this game today. It's Minecraft, it's a dungeon crawler, it's Diablo in that regards. Now with this video, what we're going to be talking about is the future of Minecraft, as well as an interview brought to you by Xbox Jin. I'll include the link in the description below. We'll be covering the information here really as it relates to the development and future plans for Minecraft Dungeons. Now that it's released, they don't have any plans on stopping. And obviously, if you're checking out this game, you might be a little bit confused because it does not yet feature crossplay. It does not feature cross-save. And you might also be wondering, what can I build in this game? Well, the plans for Minecraft Dungeons 2 actually feature crossplay here in the future, hopefully the near future. No date is given yet. They also talk about they want to add a level editor to this game. I think that would fully complement the concept of Minecraft, as well as this Diablo-esque dungeon crawler. But this isn't a review, this is more informational of a video. Hopefully we'll be able to get out our full impressions and review of the game here at some point once we've gone and found all these hidden places that people are putting up on Twitter, all those lucky people who've been able to play early over the past weekend. Anyway, Xboxygen here sat down with the executive producer David Nasagan. Please be sure to check the link in the description below. That way they can get a click for this interview. But essentially, the first question starts, creating a game for 1 to 4 players is quite different. What was the main challenge in allowing this in-game flexibility? And David responds, at first, our goal was to create a game that was completely different from Minecraft and designed for the Nintendo 3DS. But we soon realized that it would be difficult to carry out our ideas for a multiplayer-oriented game with regard to the limitations associated with the 3DS. As a result, our ideas evolved to try and get as far away from the basic Minecraft game as possible, and that's when the team desire to create a project that evolved around exploration arose, and then the idea of the dungeon crawler followed, and that's how the new project was born, entirely driven by the team's passion. Now, during the first experiments, we thought, why not adapt the game to PC? Following positive results, we wanted to incorporate the possibility of playing the game with the joystick, and soon after that, we simply decided to adapt the PC version to the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PS4. We were fortunate enough to be able to test our first versions with volunteer gamers out at Gamescom and XFest. Now, our main goal was to create an environment where it could be more fun to play together. Whether it was local cooperation or online, we incorporated elements such as the increasing difficulty or featuring buffs when you were close to your companion, or even being able to teleport next to each other if you weren't side by side. One of the biggest disappointments, though, came during multiplayer testing with game mechanics where we had spent most of the time on, being able to resurrect another player who had died or had been knocked down. We thought we had a solid system until we saw that the players testing that mechanic. We realized that the system didn't work because the players still alive didn't go back to help their companion, but rather explored on their own. The former would never come back and help their companion, and the latter would be stuck on the ground, dazed and unable to continue playing. We realized that while the system was a good idea, we needed to find a way, aka to reward the rescue of an ally. Without the initial testing, we never would have realized that was a huge problem. As far as level design goes, some of the parts of the level are fixed, like where you start, some points along the way, and where you finish the level. Between that, there are multiple fixed points that are called anchor points or points of interest. These anchor points represent puzzles, arenas, boss fights, etc. And they are going to allow you to play together and group up and cooperate and complete challenges that might be too difficult for single players to complete alone. Apart from these main points, everything is random so that the player's experience is different every time. The game is designed to be played with several players so that you can increase their powers mutually, have an increased difficulty proportional to the number of companions gathered, and obviously a greater number of mobs. Therefore, staying together will increase your chances of survival and will only increase your fun tenfold. If you're knocked down, or a challenge is too difficult to do alone, playing together will allow you to overcome these difficulties. Now, for the moment, we did not want to include PvP and we only focused in on PvE. However, if players are keen to have access to it, we'd be happy to work on it after the game launches. I would love to see something like that. I'd love to know what you think. about it in the comments below, especially if it's optional. But I'd love to know. I love PvP. I think it's a way that, especially between content gaps, you can just challenge each other. Anyway, yeah, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what you think. All right, so Xboxygen writes, why didn't you include matchmaking? Let's say for a player who doesn't have any friends that can't be reached but still wants to play with others. Okay, that can't be reached. I was like, ouch, Xboxygen. For those Minecraft dungeon players who have no friends. Anyway, David says, that's a great question. Minecraft Dungeons is designed to be suitable for all ages, from 7 to 77. For Mojang, Minecraft, and Microsoft, the safety and well-being of the player is paramount. We don't want a child to be able to play with a total stranger, and that's why the game can only be played with friends. Then, from the game design perspective, if you have a question for you, do you know of any big games where you join a team of total strangers and you have a really good time? That's kind of true. In my opinion, only a few licenses like that, like Left 4 Dead, is one option that has managed that ideal balance. But often the gaming experience is 1,000 times more enjoyable when you play with friends you know and trust and can tease each in order to have a laugh together. Experiencing it with friends seemed to be much more fun playing with a stranger, watching them go explore on their own and not being able to communicate with them. So watchword for Minecraft Dungeons remains a fun and safe cooperative experience. So as a game designed for multiplayer, do you have any plans to open it up to crossplay? And David says, that one thing's for sure. There will be crossplay. We wanted to have it for launch of the game, but with the amount of work that we had to do for the small amount of our team size, we quickly realized that it would be too difficult to implement right away. For us, it's really a big deal to release the game on Xbox One, PC, and PS4. Integrating crossplay is no easy task, especially in these difficult times where we're going through the COVID-19 virus, which complicates everything. In our offices, we usually have access to several development kits for each platform, one or on which we can test our ideas without bothering anybody. But unfortunately, not everyone has a kit at home. It's not like that when you can take a kit home and drop it off the next day. Our security doesn't allow it. Having to work from home delays the integration of crossplay into the game, but we absolutely want to do this after the game is launched. So Xboxygen asks, after Minecraft and Minecraft Dungeons, could the Minecraft universe be extended yet to another genre of game? It's hard to imagine FPS, but a card game or an adventure game would be plausible, wouldn't it? And David says, yes, that's an excellent question as well. Minecraft as a brand is growing spectacularly. Even after 11 years since it was released as the base game, it's never been more popular. We have charts that show us the daily basis of investment and the love that players have for the game. And we're doing well, and the good things aren't going to stop anytime soon. Now, right now, we have two things in development. Minecraft Earth, which is a free mobile augmented reality game that's extremely entertaining to play. You should try it out. Minecraft Dungeons, which brings a different angle to the genre it embodies. Exploring uncharted territory is something that we think a lot about because it's our main priority to give players what they want. But it has to be something that can't be done in the Minecraft game, because why would players want to go to another game if they can already do it in the base game? To make a long story short, we're expanding with our current projects, but if we decide to go into a new project, it has to be something that's different from the base game. So Xboxygen asks, we took notes that the adventure would last about 5 hours, but that's the DLCs would add some lifespan to the title afterwards. Will they be free? How many hours of gameplay will they add? Approximately 2 hours? And David says, Mojang is a bit of an old-fashioned studio. We want to keep the traditional approach, and that's why we handle additional downloadable content. They will be paid for. But there's a substantial content to each DLC. We don't want to incorporate a handful of elements, but rather a whole bunch of new things to discover. Indeed, we were not interested in the microtransactions and the content per unit aspect. We wanted DLCs, like before, that provided an extension to the game, new areas to explore, new treasures to discover, and so on. At the same time, we wanted to give free content to everyone, so we'll be releasing the quote-unquote Hero Edition, which contains 2 DLCs, which will be like an act of the Season Pass, and adjacent that we will continue to update the game with other free stuff. Level changes, bug fixes. The goal is to keep the game going by continually combining paid content with free content. The special feature we offer here is this. If the player buys the DLC, another player can join him and play with him. The second player won't be able, as you can imagine, to launch the game itself if he doesn't own a copy of the DLC. I find this approach quite honest, as it allows players to try the DLC before buying it themselves. The lifespan of DLCs will be shorter than that of the campaign. Our DLCs will not be designed to provide narrative content, but rather more fun. Indeed, we want to give them a different spirit from the base game, a little je ne sais quoi, as you would say. They are designed to make players want to play them over and over again, and that will be able to transfer to your content from the DLC to the base game. So in interest of the DLC, we'll discover all kinds of new things like secrets, loots, puzzles, zones, etc. The spirit of the studio is not really oriented towards the narrative side, as you can imagine. When we developed the Minecraft game, we designed it as a sandbox space where anybody can modify, integrate, develop, or create as they wish the tools that they provided. We tried to apply the sandbox principle to dungeons, but instead of being able to change the environment around the player as in Minecraft, we built the ability to change the character ad infinitum. All the gameplay will revolve around you and your present equipment, your loot, and what you find in combination you will create between your weapons, armor, and enchantments, artifacts in order to be as free as possible in your decisions. We have no strict rules, no classes, no abilities per se, but when you gain a level, you'll only get new enchantment points, but you'll be able to spend it on your equipment to improve it or to make it magical. You will always be able to get your enchantments back to replenish your points and put them into something else. You will be able to retrieve all the elements of your environment without any restriction regarding your level or class. The watchword is, you'll find something nice, so you equip it, and then you continue on your adventure. If, for example, you encounter a difficult situation, the game that need to adopt a different strategy to help to deal with your opponents, such as increasing your speed or having a specific type of damage, you can just swap out your light armor for heavy armor and trade that bow for a big sword and reconfigure your character to maximize your chances of success. If you find it a handy item in the DLC, you're surely going to be able to combine it with your other equipment in the basic game. So finally, the mission area that was previously inaccessible to you. The fact is that you could mold your equipment to infinity will surprisingly substantially increase the complexity of the game in terms of possible combinations. Since there are no restrictions, player will surely find a way to design mind-blowing and fearsome combinations that are precisely the goal with the sandbox side of the game. We prefer entertainment over perfect balance. Controlled grind experimentation in this way will make the player the designer, and you'll become what you wear. So Minecraft Dungeons is obviously inspired by hack and slash genre, so like the Diablo license comes to mind. What elements of the Blizzard title inspired you, and what aspects were it intentionally different? How is this game different from any of the other dungeon crawlers? And so David responds, another excellent question. Being a project born out of a shared passion for the dungeon crawler, we were necessarily inspired by games like Diablo or Torchlight. But the multiplayer side, we were thinking about creating some of the mechanics close to those of the FPS, like Left 4 Dead. Yes, again. And then we thought it was a great model. Without wanting to criticize the games that were probably differentiate us from the rest that we encourage exploration and experimentation with your character compared to the other titles of the genre, our game is a little more or less accessible, so you can simply grab your controller, dive into the game, and quickly for a good time. The level of complexity as the possible combinations will be the spearhead of that game, as there will always be something new to try and experience. What if I do this, or what if I do that? Will the sentences that you offer, as you say, and create combinations. Games like Diablo and Torchlight include a lot of number of values that have to consistently take into account when creating your character. Often, you have to think 10 levels ahead of this or that power, or wait for this level to access X things. Waiting for these conditions is detrimental to the entertainment that you should experience. Now with Dungeons, the main difference is the entertainment happens right now. We don't punish your character's experimentation or exploration as you get back all the enhancement points that you use rather than lose them forever. If you make a bad choice, you can go backwards, unlike other games that are less forgiving and sometimes even cause players to restart all over again and their character from scratch. So finally, the game's map offers a lot of expansion possibilities. Until when do you plan to support the game's DLCs? For 1 or 2 years? So David responds, that's an excellent question, as apparently all of these are. The answer is simple. We don't really know yet. The studio has a habit of sustaining its games over time. Just like in Minecraft, we're still updating it 11 years after it was released. That's something we love to be able to do with Dungeons, but it depends on the players and their desire to keep the game going over time. We have to say that it goes like this. We'll see what the players want. It's the DNA of our mindset and the Mojang way to do it. Anyway, So thank you very much, Oxygen, Xboxygen, for this great interview. Lots of interesting things here. Obviously, it'll be really cool to see a level editor at some point in the future. If you guys aren't playing Minecraft and you have Game Pass, you should totally check it out. It is a really solid game. I'm having a lot of fun with it, and we're sure to continue to play, and we'll put some stuff and more content up here on the channel. For Ginger Prime, my name is Brian. If you enjoyed this video, hopefully you hit that like button. If you're new here, hopefully hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, by the way, you are my warrior of light, my warrior of darkness, just generally my warrior. That's what you get for being a subscriber here at Ginger Prime. Free compliments at the end of the videos. Also, huge shout out to all our members who hit that join button, especially Ethan, who's joined at the Vishap level. Thank you, Ethan, for your support and making content like this possible. Anyway, for Ginger Prime, like I said, my name's Brian. Hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care.